Yokoso, 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 sanka shate, itadaki, arigato gozaimasu. Yes, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's episode 79 of the Stadia Monday Night Chat, ladies and gentlemen, with me, your host, of course, Clive Illenden, and what a packed show we have for you tonight. I mean, there's been so much Stadia news in the last week or so. The week is fit to bursting, but more on that later. Of course, more on that later. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, speed that up there. First of all, let's welcome you all in chat to see who is in the chat already, ladies and gentlemen, of course. And yep, Victor's in the chat. I've already had to put him on the naughty step for his baseless drivel, never mind. Anyway, Jerome, Stadia Revolution, how are you, sir? Randy B, Sednar, Raven Anime, lovely to see you. In lead, of course. Stadia Mania, lovely to see you. I hope you're setting up. So Stadia Mania is setting up some FIFA games and stuff. So make sure you check that out. Loving FIFA at the moment, if I'm honest. Christopher, how are you, my friend? Cloud Gaming Dad, good to see you. Case Ball, excellent. Stadia Rev, Marcus, Jerome, we've already done Jerome. Eli, how are you? Eli Levi, hello. 1030 Media Group, I am good. Thank you for popping in tonight. I'm super good. Thank you for that. Anyway, there we go. That's a quick hello to the chat. The early doors people in the front seats who've come in. Yeah, people in the mosh pit. That's my hello to people in the mosh pit here at Concert Stadia Monday Night Chat. Remember, of course, let me know what games you've been playing. Hit the likes because I like it. YouTube likes it. And it helps people like you find content like this. And if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button, toggle that notification bell so you know when I go live with content like this. You know the song, of course you do. And of course, feel free to avail yourself to the super chats. And if you have the button, there might be a button in the chat, I'm not sure, maybe not, that can flex that you're a channel member if you're a channel member. It's appearing in some people's chats anyway. But anyway, most importantly, put your seats in the upright position. Put away your seat trays in front of you, buckle up, because we're about to take off, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to take off. Right. Games I've been playing, ladies and gentlemen. Games I've been playing. FIFA 22. I'm in an R-in, and we'll come to it later, but the Premiere Edition, not that I need it, I gave one away. Gave one to my son, gave one away, got another one. Yeah. Didn't really need a Premiere Edition, but I just like having them. There's something slightly addictive about getting those Premiere Edition special offers. So I was swayed, and I'd noticed my son had been firing up FIFA 21. So I used him as an excuse to get FIFA 22. And I tell you what, been absolutely loving it. It looks awesome, yeah. 4K, Victor, yeah. HDR, Victor, yeah. Looks awesome. Been playing couch co-op with my son. My son is loving it. He's loving FIFA 22. He loves opening the packs and putting his sort of ultimate squad together and working out all the chemistry. All of that's a bit above me. I just like to play quick play and and play on semi-pro AI against semi-pro AI and stuff like that. But yeah, and it's great to see my son using Stadia as well, considering he's like a real PC gamer, Xbox gamer. Not that bothered about Stadia, really. Obviously, not like his dad, because all his mates play, or used to play Fortnite, or he's playing Counter-Strike and stuff like that. But now he's into FIFA. He's playing the Stadia, as I say, and it looks incredible. My son and I having a complete blast, playing it together, playing couch co-op. Plus, he's been playing a lot of Formula One. He suddenly decided he loves Formula One, and Gasly's his favourite driver and all that kind of stuff. Got Formula One on Stadia. He's loving it. So it's great to see my son now playing Stadia. considering, he's a PC gamer and an Xbox gamer. But the games he wants to play, and the reason he played on those is because the games he wants to play were on there. Now the games he wants to play are on Stadia. So he plays FIFA and he plays F1 there. And there was a real penny drop moment for me at the weekend. He had so my son's about, my son, anyway, he's nearly 12, right? My son is nearly 12. And his mate came round at the weekend and he just said to his mate, do you want to play FIFA? His mate had been playing FIFA on the PlayStation. And he said, yeah. He handed out the Stadia controllers. Both of them sat in front of the big LG C1, fired it up. There was no debate or question about what platform it was on. It looked amazing. It played amazing. Set them up with the Stadia controllers and they were away. And as I say, it played amazing. It looks amazing. The kids were loving it. This is the future. It's just about having the games people want to play on the devices you already own. That's it. That's simple maths. That's all it is. Just ease of access to those games. So some kid who may not have, a PlayStation 5 or whatever, or a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox, whatever. Now, if his parents have got Stadia on their smart TV or something like that, or just go to their browser, they can start playing the games. And it was just that moment. It's like, it doesn't matter what platform it's on. It's about ease of access, entry, the point of entry for you. And that point of entry can be a £2,000 gaming PC, it could be a £500 next-gen console, it could be a hand-me-down old-gen console, or it could be on a browser or on your smart TV. Doesn't matter. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what I've been playing. And just before this evening, I started up Mafia 3. I had no idea. I mean, I thought it was all about the Italian mob and stuff like that. It's like, I'm absolutely already drawn into the story. I've only just started it, but also I thought it was in like Brooklyn or something like that. So I'm drawn into the story and the characterization. It's a great story game, which I love. And it looks great. You'd read this stuff. Oh, it's unplayable. It's horrible. I can't play it. Get out of here. It's fine. It looks amazing on my big TV. It looks fab. Loving it. So I'm going to look forward to really getting into the story. I do love a good story game. So there we are. Anyway, we'll have a quick look at chat just to see if it's kicking off anything there. Proto, how are you, my friend? No one wants to play a game that's going to hurt your eyes. I'll tell you that much, Proto. Yeah. Hey, Zero Games. He's playing. Good work, sir. Good work. Good work. I saw Megatronics. Has she changed the name yet? I don't know. Anyway, I saw Megatronics playing that at the weekend. Very good. Man, of course, he's alive. I'm here to survive. Coming at you at 5, probably somewhere in the world. Anyway, there we go. Nimbus, how are you, sir? What's up? What's up? What's up? Randy B. Yeah, we're going to come to this debate. Don't worry about that. Yeah, definitely. We'll come to this debate, sir. Victor. Try not to feed Victor, but there we go. Stelios, how are you? Yeah, I was debating whether jumping into Control or Mafia this evening, and Mafia got the tip there, got the nod. So there we go. Right. We don't know Caseball for sure, because it was unclear. And we'll come to that, yeah. But I think the underlying feeling is that they've gone for, they haven't given you an option. They've decided, so this is the developer, the publisher. This is not Stadia not being able to do it, as we'll also come to later, for those unsure. Victor, thank you for that. Thank you for the hot dog. Much appreciated, even though I'm mean to you. I appreciate it. I think they've locked it at 4K 30. So they've gone to the visuals. Yeah. They obviously, it's a story game. Anyway, I'm not going to talk about it now. I'm going to talk about it later anyway, but you'll get the idea of it. Anyway, yeah. You still can go on the naughty step. You still go on the naughty step. Just because you send me money. Yeah. You can still go on the naughty step if you come here spouting nonsense. Yeah. Unsubstantiated nonsense. Don't worry about that. Straight on the naughty step. All right. No messing. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let us get to the news of last week. Actually, before that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's just reminding ourselves, yeah, basically, you know, according to some person in the chat, you know, we've got a dead platform on our hands, of course. But September, before we even get into the first week that was October, September was packed. Let's have a check out the save point, ladies and gentlemen. So this is just the update here. What did we have here? So last month in September, we got the pro title. We got PGA Tour 2K21, a 2K game, Take Two, yeah, 2K game coming to pro. Ark Survival coming to pro, plus getting updated. Darksiders 2 coming to pro. Little Big Workshop, Wave Break, which is now multi-platform, of course, but coming to pro. Legend of Keepers and as well, they all came to pro. Plus, there were 3 free weekends in September. Watchdog Legion, Rainbow Six Siege, Madden NFL 22. Plus the new titles, Life is Strange, True Colors. Plus we got Assassin's Creed, Black Flag, Darksiders 3. We got a free demo for anybody to play. Anybody can just sign up. Absolutely free. Play from space. And of course, if you got the Ultimate Edition of FIFA, you would have had a chance to play that. They introduced Phone Link, so you can use your phone to play directly with your Chromecast, or link a controller to your phone and then use that to play on your Chromecast. Ubisoft expanded to every territory where Stadia is, Ubisoft Plus. There were 30 games in the library, in the Pro library in September. And just to summarize the launches, we had Ark, Black Flag, Darksiders 2, Darksiders 3, Darkwood, FIFA 22, From Space, Katamari Damacy, Life is Strange, True Colors, Meerkat's Market, and the announcement of Falconeer Warrior Edition, which is coming out this week, I believe. So there we go. That was just, ladies and gentlemen, in September, right? Yeah? That was September. Stuff's happening. Yeah? So now, ladies and gentlemen, let's just find out what was happening. You know, see how October's stacking up. Week 1 of October. Let's see how it's stacking up. Well, I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, not bad. Not bad. Let's have a look. Okay, we're going to go to 9 to 5 here because they always do a nice summary with the news here. So, of course, we had 5. Count them, 5 new Stadia Pro games. And I'll come to what that means in the library of Pro games, including Control, ladies and gentlemen. So we had Control Ultimate Edition, Control Ultimate Edition, Hello Engineer Early Access, DreamWorks Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure. You know you love it. And Cake Bash. And Mafia 3 finally came. Mafia 3 Definitive Edition. There was Unto the End was announced as a pro title, but that's coming out in December. We're not sure why. I know there's been speculation about why, but not to worry. They just added Mafia 3 Definitive Edition, which as I've said, I started playing only this afternoon. So there we go. In addition to that, so now, currently here, there are 37 pro titles in the library. 37 pro titles. That, I think, is the most amount of pro titles that we've had. Have you played in it? Let me know in the chat, of course, which of the pro titles you've played and stuff. But as I say, I think this is the largest amount of pro titles that we've had. If we check out Inled, since he's in the house, and his lovely charts. Look, these are the pro games from 2019, the library at any one point. So it hovers around this sort of central bit somewhere between about, yeah, it's been hovering around 26 games consistently since September last year. There's been, give or take, around 26, maybe to 30 games in the library if you sign up to Stadia Pro at any one time. Well, now you can see that there's definitely, it's going up. Now we're at 36 games. 36 games, ladies and gentlemen, in the Stadia Pro library. So what does this mean? Yeah. What does it mean? Well, obviously it means Stadia's closing down. No, it doesn't mean that, Victor. Be quiet in the corner. God blimey. Just keep sucking on your lollipop. That's not what it means. Is this an indication that Stadia is slowly increasing the number of pro games, as they have suggested they might do, to make it more of an offering, to get more of that kind of, Games Pass feel to it? You get all the benefits of the games never going away. We've all got, if you've been claiming from day one, you've got over 100 games. Unbelievable. Nearly over £2,500 worth of, $2,500 worth of stuff for free. Thank you very much. Well, not free, but for, in my case, $8.99 a month. Hello. But could this be an indication of the strategy that they've talked about wanting, which they talked about in December, about wanting to build out the pro library? I think it's a bit early to say now, but there's certainly a trend there. So it'll be interesting to see if that trend continues. Because what it does show you are that pro games, they're doing longer pro deals for the games. Yeah. So they're staying pro for a longer period of time. Is this a reflection of the new pro deal terms with developers and publishers? Maybe, maybe some deal terms were coming to an end, and, Stadia went to some of them and said, you know what, if you keep it on, we'll give you this new deal. And that's how. So is this a reflection of that, or is it too early to say? I don't know, but it's just interesting. I think that there does seem, if you're an analyst, you look at the trend, and it's obviously it's gone up. The library size has gone up. Bear in mind, this is the library at any one point. So if you join Stadia Pro today, boom, 36 games in your library, let alone the 3 free games as well. Straight off the bat. Yeah, £8.99. There you go. Thank you, sir. So not bad, really, not bad overall. Also, last week, of course, that was the pro titles. Go back to 9 to 5. Don't know why I'm supporting Ben here and his dodgy titles. We'll forgive you, Ben. So, as I say, Mafia 3 Definitive Edition arrives as a pro members, a pro game. DreamWorks Spirit Lucky's Big Adventure, FIFA 22, the Addams Family Mansion Mayhem launch, as we talked about. As of last week, Google has added 81 games to Stadia in the calendar year. 81 games. Yep. 81. Well on the way to their 100. Yeah. October, November, December. 20 games. That's 7 a month to reach their 100. Easily done. Considering we've got two coming out this week already. Plus, unconfirmed, ladies and gentlemen, unconfirmed, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot has passed through the PEGI board for Stadia. So this has been registered for Stadia. We know what that means. And there's still hope that the Grand Theft Auto Remastered Trilogy, as rumored, is coming. It was spotted on a Korean's rating board. Yeah, Clive, but they didn't rate it for Stadia. No, of course not. Not in Korea, you fool. Stadia's not in Korea. So why would they? Anyway, we don't know for definite, but that's sort of more clues, more potential indications, put it that way. Ember gets crossplay, which is great. There's been some great updates for Ember, the game. So that gets crossplay. And Unto the End won't come to Stadia Pro until December. Not only that, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, Google giving away more hardware. Yeah, another Premiere Edition giveaway. If you spend, in UK terms, if you spend 49, let's just go to Stadia and see the deal ourselves, which I've already done. As I said, I bought FIFA 22. There we go. Purchase any game. So if you're in the UK, I think it's $59 if you're in the US. Purchase any game for $49.99 and get a Stadia Premiere Edition free. As I said, not that I need one, but it gave me an excuse to buy FIFA 22, which I'm glad I did. And now it looks like I'm getting myself another one of these babies. Maybe I'll do a giveaway with it. Who knows? Who knows? But there we go. So more promotions. Sadly not in Canada. Sadly not in Canada. Then also here, Outriders. Oh, not Outriders. Is that game not dead yet? Is that game not dead? So I tweeted, and I think I may have mentioned it in last week's show, there were rumors that finally a patch to bring it up to bring the Stadia version. Shocking from the developer and publisher here, but finally a patch here, the state of Stadia, ongoing list of current track. Let's highlight this. Outriders still needs to be bought in line with other platforms with regards to fixes, bug resolutions, and cross-play support. You're not kidding. We're planning to complete this alignment with the upcoming big update that Outriders is planned to receive in the future. By big update, we do not mean a small patch, but significant across the board. The work it has taken to align Stadia to date means that such a bigger update is the best possible way to resolve the situation. So they're doing a massive update, and we appreciate that the work is taking longer than expected, and we do apologize for this. But it is all those people who said, oh, they've forgotten about it, right? Use that as an argument to say, that's it, Square Enix, they don't care about Stadia, they've forgotten about it. Wrong. Yeah, they may not be the most hasty about it. They may have sort of left it while they fixed all the other problems on the, on the platforms that, after all, make them the money. If we're fair, if we're honest about it, you want to get those problems right. There's so many problems about it. We have to be honest. Stadia would be at the bottom of that pecking list, pecking order, but it's getting fixed. Yeah. So don't come into my room with nonsense to suddenly be about, Square Enix, Stadia, dead, forgotten about it. Wrong. Next one. Yeah. Another. There we are. Another bash a rat thing. Whack-a-mole. Another whack-a-mole whacked. Yeah. So get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, get out of here. Anyway, there's no excuse. I'm not excusing the developer and publisher for taking so long, but I think the problem clearly is that the game was such a mess anyway that they had bigger fish. We're brutally honest about it, to fry on that. Anyway, just get on that. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That was sort of a lot of the main news that you may have read, and all of that. Can we just talk about Mafia 3 very briefly? If we may, just talk about Mafia 3. The release of Mafia 3 is almost exactly as I said. Let us all take a trip. Let's take a trip back to last week, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a trip back to last week and see what I had to say on the subject, ladies and gentlemen. Well, okay, bear with me, because you know what's going to happen. An advert's going to come up any minute. Let us go. We'll try it anyway. Here is me last week speaking. Desktop up. That up. Let's go. Mafia, you laugh. He sort of cynically laughs, Ryan.
Build e-commerce apps with the new Snippets API.
I knew there'd be an advert.
Add code into Square Online website.
Yeah. I had a theory about Mafia, and I've talked about it on this show before. Well, now is the time for that theory to come true, if I'm correct. It's gone past 365 days. So I have one possibility may be that we get one of the remastered Mafias as a pro game with the others to buy. A bit like we did with Hitman. Yo, Dominic. Oh, Dominic, man. Appreciated. Look, my Stadia... Wrong. Right, okay. Well, you missed my whole rant then. Oh, my Lord. Thank you, Marcus. I don't know whether I'm going to do that rant because it was quite mean. Thank you. Sorry, everybody. See, I'm just, I got confused myself. I was having a inception moment, yeah? Because look, because I'm on the screen. I'm here. I'm on the screen. I'm here. Proper inception, yeah? Proper inception. I'm sorry, everybody. Do you want to hear what my little mini rant was about Dave down the pub and people who do shows and pretend they're an authority when they're just Dave down the pub? I think I'll give it a miss. But anyway, Gandara, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Marcus G. Knight, thank you very much for the super chat. Much appreciated. And of course, Jack the Slip, even being mean about my lovely gaming chair, as I said. Gandara, thank you. Turn on your mic. Yeah, thank you. I just did it on purpose so you'd paid for me to turn it on. But yeah, as I rudely interrupted myself, all I was saying, yeah, there's a reason that often my theories or my analysis seems to hit the mark. And it's because I've done deals. I've done deals in the gaming industry. I've worked in the gaming industry. If you were to I was thinking today actually, and I don't really, if it was on my CV or resume, or I was introduced to somebody, you could put former gaming exec. Yeah, that sounds pretentious, but that legitimately is what I was. Former gaming exec. So you're watching a show about gaming by a former gaming exec. Now, just as with football, there is no harm going down the pub, talking about football with your mates, yeah, pretending that you could, manage Liverpool or manage West Ham, but you can't, yeah, because you've never had a career in football or anything like that. So of course you can't. But there's no harm in talking about it, talking about your favourite football teams and stuff like that. And that's fine. And having a show about it, that's fine. And having views on it, and that's fine. But having a show and then coming across as some kind of authority, back it up. Yeah, that's all I'm saying. I played games once is not enough of a qualification. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. So just when you're seeking out news, just check where you seek it out from. Where you're seeking out discussion and just conversation about stuff you love, that's fine. But just make a distinction between the two. That's all I'm saying, yeah. If you like to have a conversation with random Dave down the pub, that's fine. No harm in that. Harmless fun. All of that. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Pro that I am, he says with his mute mic. There we go. Anyway, so there are more than 200 games on Stadia now, ladies and gentlemen, as I said. And Twitter, let's just get rid of that. Twitter. Stadia put out a nice little thing, I thought. This. Look at this. Let's go, Stadians. There are now over 200 games for you to play. To play your way on Stadia. Plus, obviously, there's a purchase, a pre-order any game for $59, blah, blah, blah. But look, that's a pretty good, nice little extensive library going on there. 200 ways to play your way. Loving it. Loving it. Nice little tweet out there from Google. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Right. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, this week also sees, well, it sees the arrival of a couple of games, Falconeer, but it also sees, of course, Far Cry 6 comes out. Let me just close some of these boxes. We boxed out, man. Right. Far Cry 6 comes out this week, and the marketing behind this game from Ubisoft is massive, right? This is your AAA game. FIFA is massive. Came out last week on Stadia. People are loving it. It is incredible. Great game. Far Cry 6 now, following week, Far Cry 6, one of the biggest AAA games of the year, one of the most anticipated AAA games, massive marketing about, massive push by Ubisoft behind it. Really looking forward to it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it has been reported that the Stadia version will be 4K 30 frames per second, unlocked at that, which I know has annoyed some people and disappointed some people. And that's fair enough. I think if you were hoping you'd have the option to play in 60 frames per second, I could see why you'd be disappointed, of course. But equally, it's just given other people an excuse just to cack on Stadia for the hell of it, because that's their hobby. Whatever. It's your hobby. I get it. Anyway, let's be clear about 30 frames per second, yeah? There were about 150 million PlayStation 4s sold, yeah? And about 116 million Xbox Ones sold. So over the last 6 years, people have been playing games, Tomb Raider, PUBG, Destiny, at 30 frames per second, yeah? And have been fine with it, yeah? And then what? There's like a massive switch in the sky that somebody's switched, and now it makes you sick and vomit and impossible to play. Like all of a sudden, like for 6 years, you have no problem. And now you're spewing violently because I can't play. It makes me go mad. Like what? Now, is it annoying? I get. Oh yeah, Clive. Once you've played 30 frames, once you've played 60 frames per second, man, well, it's hard to go back. Yeah, I get that. Once you've had silk, cotton will never do. I get that. I understand that. And I think if you're used to playing on 60 frames per second, or 120 frames per second, or whatever, 240 frames per second on your £2,000 gaming PC, yeah. It would be a bit hard for you to play at 30 frames per second. I get that. Then play it on your £3,000 gaming PC. If it bothers you that much. Because if you don't have a £2,000 gaming PC, or you don't have a PlayStation 5, or you don't have an Xbox, One Series X, your experience of playing these games would be at 30 frames per second, except you're getting the bonus of getting it in 4K as well. So it only matters to those that already have those consoles. If you already have those consoles and it bothers you so much that it makes you spew or go into some sort of paralytic fit when you see it, play it on those platforms you've already got. I played and completed Far Cry 5. Complete it, mate. Not a problem. Fine. Now, should we be demanding 60 frames per second from Stadia? Yeah, of course we should. Why? Because we know it is more than capable of delivering 60 frames per second. Yeah? We've got games like Division 2. Yeah, 4K, 60 frames per second. Amazing. We've got games like Doom Eternal. 4K, 60 frames per second. Well, it's upscale, Clive, from 1800p. Shut up and get out. 4K, 60 frames per second, Doom Eternal. Amazing, yeah? FIFA, 22, 6 frames per second. Amazing, yeah? West of Loathing, 4K, 60 frames per second, yeah? Amazing. So, of course, it is disappointing when developers or publishers feel they can't, push out, get it to, give you that option. At least with, Red Dead Redemption 2, which I loved. I think I probably played Red Dead Redemption 2 entirely in 30 frames per second. But it gave you a 4K, because I love the visuals. It's a story. I love the visuals. But it gave you the option. 1080p, 60 frames per second, 4K, 30 frames per second. So that's, that's my point really about that. Let's catch up with the chat a bit there. But anyway, let's so is this, is if it is locked at 4K, 30 frames per second, is that disappointing? Yes, of course it is, because we know Ubisoft and others can do better. And it would be nice to have an option for those that genuinely, don't like playing at 30 frames per second, but are happy to play it at 1080p. It, be good to give them the option. So if it is at that, yeah, that is disappointing. Is it the end of the world? That's it. Stadia's dead. That's it. Stadia's dead because Far Cry 6 is only 30 frames per second, but 4K. Yeah, but forget the 4K bit. It's only a 30 frame. Yeah, but it's 4K. It's visually amazing. Yeah, I know, but that just makes it sound too good, so we'll just ignore that bit. Yeah? It's not the end of the world. It's disappointing, yes. It's annoying, yes, because we know that they could do better, as I'll come to later. Yeah? They did on Arc. And I'll come to why it's better. But to try and to sort of somehow, that's it. It's impossible to play. Like, really? Yeah, somebody tweeted today, and if they're in the chat, I'm going to call you out. They said, and I quote, literally unplayable. 30 frames per second is literally unplayable. I completed Red Dead Redemption 2, 30 frames per second. I completed Far Cry 5, 30 frames per second. So what? Do I have a special version? Yeah, a version just for me. Yeah, I have a secret Stadia version that you don't have. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Right? So sort yourselves out. And while I'm on the subject, right, of ranting, quick shout out to Eddie Player One, right? Because this is the problem that people have with Stadia, not understanding where Stadia is in the world. And Eddie Player One, I think it was last week actually, posted a great tweet. Where was it? Here it is. An infographic, if you like, sir. An interesting infographic. And I'm going to share it here. So Eddie Player One posted this, and it's about the adoption of streaming media into the mainstream over the years. And this will kind of, I think a lot of us already know this, but there we go. So here we go. If we're looking at this here, ladies and gentlemen, we've got at the top, we've got music. Yeah. So Spotify was born. So Napster was born in 98. Spotify was born in 06. Okay. And then by 19, so 15 years later, Spotify had its 100 millionth customer. Yeah. Netflix was born in 97. They decide to go into streaming in 06. 10 years later, they get their 100th million user. 10 years later. Yeah? 10 years later. Streaming music took 16 years to get to its 100 million. Streaming films and TV, Netflix, biggest in the market, took 10 years to get to where it is. Stadia isn't even 2 years old, ladies and gentlemen. So, hello. So hello to all those. Stadia didn't take over the world on November the 19th, 2019, so it's failed, idiots. Yeah, hello to all of you. That's all I'm saying. These things take time, and I think this infographic amply demonstrates that. And if you can't get that into your head, I can't help you. Yeah? If you don't realize where Stadia is on the path, I can't help you. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Now, another thing as well. I don't know if any of you watch Linus Tech Tips. I do. I can't say I particularly like him as a personality, but I shouldn't judge people just because I find them a bit annoying. I do watch him because some of the stuff is quite interesting. I'm not a complete PC nerd. Some of it is a bit above my head. But I like his odd thing and his reviews of monitors. Obviously, I like to review tech. So, it's always kind of useful to see what other people are saying about tech and stuff like that. Anyway, Linus Tech Tips. Well, he finally, and I can't believe this, because he's a PC gamer, hardcore PC gamer, and he reviewed all the streaming services, months ago. But yeah. And back in the day when he reviewed it, he was like, oh no, I definitely feel the latency and lag. It's not quite the same as playing on my £10,000 gaming rig, which we just put together. And so he was with all the cool boys. Yeah, it's down on Stadia. Yeah, down. Yeah. It's not like playing on a £10,000 gaming rig we've just built for the video, is it? No. Kel Surprise. Yeah. Kel Surprise line. It's not like that. Anyway, yeah. He finally gave Stadia its dues. Ironically enough, while reviewing Edge on the Xbox, which I thought was quite funny. Here is let's get the video. No link. Right, here we go. Right, hopefully I will leave my...
Ready for it, ready, steady for it. Ready, here, so I'm getting on it. Pedal to metal, so gotta floor it, and I'm in.
Time to play something a little bit newer. Let's head over to Stadia. Controller linked. That worked immediately. Sound works. That was really easy. Press any button. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Oh, there it goes. Oh, boy. Okay, breaking.
Now, this is him not going, oh, boy.
Okay, there we go.
Stadia's awful. God. This is him going, oh, boy.
This is stressful to watch.
My driving is awful.
Oh, there it is. Oh, God. Yeah, all right. That's quite enough of that. Yeah, I'd say it was fairly excellent.
Excellent.
On a good internet connection, the latency is very usable.
Let's go to GeForce now.
There you go. One of the biggest gaming PC nerds on the planet. Finally. Yeah? Finally. Ironically enough, he's reviewing Edge on the Xbox, but as I say, back in the day, he hung out with all cool kids who dissed on Stadia, partly, as I say, because he didn't play as well as his Super 10K gaming PC, as I said, who knew? But anyway, there you go. Finally, he's giving it, well done, Linus. That's much better, yeah? That's all we want from tech bloggers and YouTubers. Just be honest, yeah? Don't come with a preloaded opinion. Be honest. Now, because he wasn't reviewing Stadia directly, he wasn't quite aware of himself. And he legitimately just said, Stadia plays really well. Because it does. You can't argue about it. Now, you can argue about the business models and you can argue about the marketing and you can argue about the games, but the tech works. And it works in a way that there's something almost magical about it. As I've quoted on this show, great science or great technology that should be almost indistinguishable from magic, as Arthur C. Clarke said. Yeah? But there we go. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, in other news, now I've got to really kind of multitask here, but here we go, ladies and gentlemen. In other news, see if I can do this. In other news, hot off the press, ladies and gentlemen, Party Chat arrives. Party Chat. Kyle says, finally gains Party Chat nearly 2 years after launch. All right, Kyle, don't rub it in, yeah? So Party Chat has finally arrived on Android phones here, which has been a big demand for ages, considering, one of the great appeals of Stadia is you can play it on your Android phone, on your mobile phone. And Party Chat was sorely missing. Well, it's here, ladies and gentlemen. It is here. Finally. And we've known about it, as they say here, as Gem and 9 to 5 Gaming have mentioned on a number of occasions here. When they've done the APK packing, they've sort of said unpacking, they've seen clues to this, but it's here. It's finally here. It's rolling out. You can stay in Party Chat while doing other things on your phone as well, which I noticed that today. I was trying to have a look to see if it was on. But you can see it, you can do other activities and the party voice chat stays on, which is quite interesting. It's taken far too long. I have to agree. It's taken a while to get there, but it's finally here. So more features. Hey, who knew? More features coming to Stadia. Who knew? Talking of parties, ladies and gentlemen. Talking of parties. Public parties are now available. Again, let's go 9 to 5. Who is it this time? Is it Carl or it's Ben? It's Ben. Google Stadia players can now find teammates with public parties with these games that are supported. They've got a list of the games. So basically, you can set up a party, and it's a way of sort of saying, like a looking for group. So if you're looking for players, you can open a public party and say, I'm looking for players from space, whatever. It works with certain games. And people could drop into your party. So you open it up to the public. So some people have likened it for, looking for group. I think you had it on Xbox, sort of similar sort of thing. And these are the games in which it works. So it doesn't, public parties only applies to certain games. So Ark Survival, Crater, Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2, Far Cry 5, FIFA 21, FIFA 22, Human Fall Flat, Humankind, Madden NFL 22, Marvels, Avengers, NBA 2K21, PUBG, Red Dead, Crew 2, Division 2, Elder Scroll, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, Rainbow Six Siege, and Legion. So there we go. Public parties. Another addition, another feature added. They keep bringing them out. They keep adding the features. You may say they've been a long time in coming, but they keep adding them. They keep bringing them on. And that's the key thing, ladies and gentlemen. That is the key thing. There's more news. What is more news? Yes. Okay. More news. New Stadia hardware in the pipeline, ? I bet you've not seen anybody else talk about this. Yeah? Why am I saying this, ladies and gentlemen? Why am I saying this? Why has nobody else said it? Well, I'll show you why, ladies and gentlemen. I shall show you why. Have I got the right one? Right. Now, this may not be specifically new hardware products for Stadia. We don't know, but I'm just speculating here. And you'll see because it's in a job description. Not another job description. Yeah, in a job description. Product planner, game streaming, Stadia. Okay. Explaining what Stadia is all about. We know that. You will drive, so your job here, product planner for streaming games and Stadia, you'll drive strategic initiatives that influence Google's streaming game efforts. You will own and drive products, including consumer hardware planning. Now, this could be stuff for like Chromecast, the Chromecast for Google TV type stuff. It could be, I don't know, controllers for smart TVs. It could be anything. But the point is, you drive these projects, including hardware, consumer hardware planning, analysis, and business process. You'll build relationships with engineering product teams and cross-functional partners, basically across the piece, finance, operations, and partnerships, to execute on projects with direct interaction with organization leadership. Ladies and gentlemen. So you're interacting with the sort of, senior management here. But I just thought it was funny, curious. You'll own and drive projects, including consumer hardware planning. I wonder what that means. Consumer hardware planning. Makes you think. I don't think it may not be as something as simple as, more controllers. Well, it could be. Could be a generic controller for non-Stadia things. It could be but for be able to play, game streaming things or anything, but using the power of Google and stuff like that. Who knows? There we go. But it's just very, very interesting, I think. I'm just putting it out there. Let me know what you think on that. Let me know what you think. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, finally, on the news front, Valhalla. Talking of 60 frames per second and everything. So when Valhalla came out, they obviously opted to go for the visuals over frames per second and felt they'd rather deliver 4K at 30 frames per second rather than, a 1080p 60 frames per second. Yeah? And some people were disappointed because they get violently sick and get some sort of paralysis. Yeah? Even though it's a story-driven, visually stunning game, perhaps you want to opt for the 4K option. But anyway, when it came out, the same arguments, the same problems, the same gnashing of teeth, the same annoyance, that it was locked at 4K 30 frames per second. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as of tomorrow, not anymore. Yeah? So anybody who thinks that somehow Stadia's given up, Ubisoft's given up, yeah? When Far Cry 6 is only going to be at 4K 30 frames per second, which is a sign they've given up. Well, that argument's just gone and had a kick in the balls, hasn't it? Yeah? And is now sobbing in the corner. That argument is now sobbing its eyes out because it's been truly defeated. Because, ladies and gentlemen, here it is, patch update. In a minute. I'll accept your cookies. So, here we are. Google Stadia graphic mode. Added an option to Google Stadia that allows players to choose between high frame rate or quality. Allows switching between graphic modes for better performance, prioritize 60 frames per second, or image quality, prioritize resolution and graphical fidelity features. Yeah? Now, what's slightly annoying about this, at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, this, is that we know they can do it, so why didn't they do that? So why didn't they do that if the reports about Far Cry 6 are correct, why don't they come out the door with that option for Far Cry 6? Now, I have a theory about it, and I'm going to share it with you based on my experience and understanding of these things. I think that they base the port on, say, so they put extra attention into the PS5 version and Xbox Series X version, and they probably base the port on a slightly lower spec version for Stadia, somewhere between, the old generation and a mid-range, low-spec sort of PC, and then get it out. Yeah, rather than to then spend time improving the engine on that particular platform and taking the time and stuff like that, because that would add weeks to the Stadia release. Yeah. So I think, what they've done is just sort of get it out the door, which is not necessarily very satisfactory, but with the option, like they have with Valhalla, to come back and improve. And I think if we put the pressure on there, we work with ARC, there's obviously, a conversation. As I said, I don't think it makes it unplayable, like, which is my big problem with people who say that, is literally unplayable, right? I don't have a problem with what people wanting games to be in 60 frames per second. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with people who make hyperbolic statements. Yeah? It's unplayable! It's not unplayable. Fuck off. Get out of here. Yeah? It's annoying, yeah, when we know, as proved here, that they can do it. So fingers crossed, if one, because not all the information in that report, with the statement by the creative director from Ubisoft, who said it'll be locked at 30 frames per second. There's some information missing there, so we're assuming it's 4K 30 frames per second for Far Cry 6. Exactly the same issue with Valhalla. Valhalla now has a performance toggle, and I think they need to do that more and more. So there we go. It was Benjamin Hall. Thank you there. But he was only partly quoted. Victor, that's all I'm saying. He wasn't... he was only partly quoted. And Victor, no, I'm not. So there we go. Victor got put on the naughty step earlier today because he was being a naughty boy making baseless statements. And one of those statements completely undermined by the fact that Valhalla tomorrow will have a 60 frames per second option. So just saying, that's why he went on the naughty step. Not just because of that, but, you know. You will go on the naughty step if you just come with baseless statements and opinions without backing it up with genuine information or rationale. Okay? That's how it's going to work, ladies and gentlemen. That's how it's going to work. Right. Do you like my little ticker going across the bottom there? Just experimenting with it. Right. Oh, and before I forget, ladies and gentlemen, before I forget, of course, shout out to Four Scars Gaming, the charity stream, Caring from the Clouds Super Extravaganza charity event continues, because remember, it's all through October. I talked about it last week. So there'll be another weekend, loads of prizes for anybody who donates over the weekends. The first weekend was gone, very successful. Loads of people streaming different games, and the winners actually from last week. So there are genuine winners there. And we've got more streaming coming coming this weekend on the 9th. I think I'm in there. Or Lord Kensal is. Yeah, Lord Kensal's in there. Or there's a picture of me. But it's actually Lord Kensal. It's not me. Lord Kensal will be doing it this weekend, as along with Rock, the man himself, Project Storm, Vivi, Scooterama, and Vet Cloud Gaming, all doing it on Saturday. So make sure you support those. You don't have to come and support me, but support Rock or John or Project or Vivi, any of those. Make sure you support some of those. It will be really, really appreciated. Plus, you get a chance to win loads of prizes if you enter. Look at that. Look at Codex. What a face. If you donate to any of those charities, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. There you go. So shout out as ever to John, Four Scars Gaming, for organising all of that. Make sure you check out the stream. He'll tweet and mention it, no doubt, closer to the weekend. But big shout out. There we go. Right, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've covered it. We're going to go into the chat. Yes. Oh, yes, people. Let's do this. It's chat time. It's chat time. Hey! Special, first of all, for Victor. Hey, Consignia! Oh, man. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Yeah. Yeah. Well, he filled up my whole Twitter line with stuff, so there we go. But anyway, yeah, you get on the naughty step, right? People get on the naughty step, and they also might get, yeah, one of them. Okay. Just come with constructive, sensible, rational, non-hyperbolic discussions and debate. Fine. So if you come to me and I notice, shout out to Metal Wolf, who I quoted today in the show. Yeah. Literally unplayable. Yeah. Literally unplayable. Like he's some kind of teenage girl. Like literally. Like it was literally. Yeah. Now, if you'd opened your statement going, personally, I don't like playing in 30 frames per second. I much prefer to play in 60 frames per second. And I'm so used to playing in 60 frames per second or above that I find it hard to go back. I would probably respond, that seems very reasonable. Yeah? That seems very reasonable. That's a reasonable position. That's a reasonable argument. I think we should expect better because we've seen other games on Stadia at 4K and 60 frames per second, and they seem to manage all right. So it makes me wonder, well, given the fact that Valhalla's going to have a 60 frames per second toggle mode, exactly, that is a very reasonable argument to have. Don't have a problem with that. But literally unplayable, hyperbole. Yeah? So just, come with reasonable, less hyperbolic discussions and we're good. Yeah, we're good. That's all I ask. Yeah. Is Stadia, like anything is Stadia. Although, what I try to do on this show, I'm not just here, I'm not defending a multi-billion-dollar company all the time, yeah? I'm questioning the sort of clickbaity headline statements that people make without validity. I'm questioning the way people phrase their discontent, yeah? That's what gets my go. Often the argument or the point they're trying to make somewhere in that over-the-top reaction, yeah, somewhere in there is the kernel of a reasonable statement to make, yeah? But then there are others equally who aren't interested in having a rational debate. They're just using it to throw sticks and stones at Stadia or people who like Stadia, yeah? Just out of malice. Not for reasoned argument, not for a sensible discussion, but just because it's their hobby, yeah? It's their hobby to pop up on Twitter. Like the character out of, Simpsons. Like, what are you contributing? What are you contributing? Nothing. If you come with reasonable argument, disappointment, we should demand more. Yeah, absolutely. I don't have a problem with any of that. Could things be done better? Yeah. Could more games be on, Stadia or certain games that we want? Yeah. They're perfectly normal arguments to have. That's fine. But this sort of black and white kind of swing of the pendulum, like the reason Victor got put on the naughty step is basically he said, I told you so. Jack Booth's are leaving. It's a sinking ship because Far Cry 6 will be at 4K 30 frames per second. Like, how do you put those dots together? How do you make those leaps? Unless you're just trying to troll. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt because the other option, right, if you're not trolling, the other option is, well, you might need help. That's all I'm saying. So just make a decision. What are you? Yeah? Are you a troll? You decide. And you decide by reasoned argument. That's all it is. So there we go. Yeah, exactly. No one's left to do Jack's job. Well, there is. He was... Someone replaced him. Sometimes, Victor, I wonder whether you listen to the show at all. Yeah? Or you're just thinking of the next sort of thing to say. Did you pay attention at school? Yeah? Or did the teacher have to repeat things? When they say, right, I hope you've all brought your homework today, and Victor hasn't brought his homework because he wasn't listening. He wasn't listening in. Yeah? Because if you come to my show, I don't understand. If you come to my show and you listen to me every week, I don't understand. Am I not getting through? You're not paying attention? Like, people still come up with these sort of crazy ideas and nonsense. So I put it down to trolling, yeah? That's what I do. Anyway. I don't know if you... yeah, I will. Exactly. You're going to have to stay behind, Victor. You're going to stay behind, get lessons. But there we are. Right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to whiz through the chat. It's been popping in the chat. I got a bit ranty and ravey there. But, you know, it's not the sentiment of what people say. It's just the manner in which it's said, you know, other than trolls who just use it as a sort of stick on the ground to then go and beat people who want to have fun playing Stadia around the head just for the hell of it. Yeah. But anyway, there we go. Yeah. Cunning, you see. A brain fart. Yeah. At my age. Well, you know, I have these, you know. Replay the rant, lol. Of course, there we are. I played it. Yeah. I did swear today. Apologise for that. I don't really. There's a time and a place, you know, sometimes. That's the great thing about the English language. Shakespeare used it. Chaucer used it. So if it's good enough for Chaucer, it's good enough for Shakespeare, it's good enough for me. That's all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe I should get one of the beat machines. That's what it is, yeah. Lego. Yeah. I didn't mention anybody, Jamie, you know. But if the shoe fits, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not a professional journalist, no. I'm not a journalist. I don't, you know, I don't write articles or anything like that. I don't claim to be a journalist. But equally, when you know, what makes a good journalist? I know what makes a good journalist because there's a lot where I work and you have to do, you know, a degree or a 2-year course in journalism or whatever. But there's a difference between that who gets a job of writing. But then, you know, in fairness, a journalist who's been writing about a particular subject area, hopefully, usually good ones usually come from that industry. You know, they become sort of gamekeeper turned poacher, poacher turned gamekeeper. You know, like it's a bit like reviewers and film directors or, you know, stuff like that. Or they've been watching and writing for a long, long time about that subject matter and have researched it and have experience. And so I give certain journalists, I'll give them credence on that basis. Yeah. Quality games. Yeah. Maybe pop stacks on stacks on stacks. Well, people loved it when it came out back in the day. It did its job, early days. But yeah, generally there's some nice quality. There's a lot of award-winning indies. I saw Phil Spencer, talking of Phil's, I saw Phil Spencer praising, what's that game called? Lost Words. Yeah? Saying what an amazing game it is. Yeah? Finally. What platform did it come out on first? Stadia. Yeah? So there we go. Yeah, I rushed to finish Far Cry 5. I've done it. I'm happy with that. It seemed to go on for ages, but then it sort of speeds up towards the end. But I did feel like, what I've got to do now? I'm just doing stuff. Help me get to the end. What's happened to the story? Yeah, they can upgrade, and it just somebody at Stadia needs to keep the pressure on. I mean, in fairness, I think they do need somebody there, and maybe Victor has a small point here. If there's, in fairness, they need somebody there who sort of says or pressures the developer or publisher to sort of have a toggle mode, a performance toggle mode of some sort or stuff like that. But equally, it's a balance between them getting the game day and date as well. And I think, and again, it's knowing on how these things work, I think that may be a factor of it. In the way that it's ported, depending on what version they're porting. And if they're porting from a sort of a lesser version than the next gen console versions or a high-end PC version, or if they're porting from a PC version, you would think it was fairly easy for them to toggle things. But if they're porting it from a slightly lower common denominator port, just so that it arrives day and date and it's less risky for them, then it may be at the compromise of having to make a decision about, do we go for the high fidelity visuals or do we go for the performance? And they've made a creative decision, given the time, in order to deliver it in this is the way I'm thinking, I'm not saying 100% sure, given the time they had, in order to make sure they hit the delivery date for Stadia, they made a creative decision to go for visuals, 4K. Because most people, as I said, over 200 million people had the last generation of console. Most people's experience, the casual gamer's experience of gaming, is at 30 frames per second. That's not to dismiss those that are, have all have PlayStation 5s and have Xbox, Series X's and expensive gaming PCs. Good luck to you, well done. But the casual gamers, the vast majority of the casual gamers' experience is at 30 frames per second. So for safety, you can wow them. So to them, you're wowing them with 4K. And that's a creative decision. Now, you can judge whether that's right or wrong, but there we go. Politics, yeah. There may be a an element about that. I think it's more about timing, but there could be an element about that. There was a discussion about whether that was the case with Doom Eternal, when the head of ID specifically said that Doom would be pure 4K, and it ended up being 1800p upscaled. Not that that bloody mattered. It looks amazing. Not that anybody would notice. Yeah. Nobody is going to notice that. But he did say it, in fairness. So there was some question, because that was also the version for the Xbox Series X. So there was some question at the time whether Microsoft limited them from allowing Stadia. I don't see how that would quite work. But I know some people speculated about that, saying, oh, well, you can't, Stadia can't be at true 4K if Xbox Series X is only at 1800p upscaled. Still, we had the best version outside a £3,000 gaming PC and an level with Xbox Series S of Doom Eternal. But there you go. But that was an interesting speculation at the time. Exactly. I did. You know what, Jamie? I completely forgot about all the Switch games. And I think that's reasonable. But you saying you've had games, Proto, all your life, you've had an issue. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Jerome. In 2 years, 3 year time, when everyone's had 120 frames per second, everybody was saying it's not good enough, Yeah, I think, if you're getting a bad image quality and 30 frames per second, that's awful. But my experience, and I get that, Zero Games, absolutely. I think if your latency's not quite there and you're getting 30 frames per second, it can be a bit, yeah, absolutely. But my experience with Red Dead Redemption and Far Cry 5 is I sometimes used to just stop and admire the scenery. and just like how amazing it looked. And that was the point, really, because they're story-based games. It's not as though, it's PvP so much. It's a story, and the visuals are important. And I think creatively, given the choice, that's the decision that they made. But I think it is much better to have a graphical mode option. But there we go. And also, we don't know how, when people, develop a game, what happens is over time, once it's published, the developers, when they patch it, they basically find economies in the development engine, and make it run more efficiently, the game run more efficiently over time. So it constantly chipping away and improving and sort of polishing and sort of sandpapering the edges and making the game run better and better and use its resources, its CPU and its graphical resources much better over time. And that happens, and that's what many people patches, people do developers do when they bring out patches. Often it's because they've managed to make things work better and more efficiently with the CPU and the I'm not a techie person, but I remember this is what they used to do. They used to work and improve those efficiencies. So there we go. Exactly. I had a great time with Far Cry 6. That's all it is. It bothers me. We could have had day one allowing 4K because now the game is dead and nobody cares. I haven't played Valhalla, so I care, monkey boy. It's on my to-do list. A lot of people as well. Exactly. You're not forced to play on Stadia. Most of the people complaining say, well, it's not like that on my Xbox Series X. Great. Play it on your Xbox Series X then. Yeah, fine. It's not like that on my £3,000 gaming PC. Fine. Play it on your £3,000 gaming PC. But if you don't have an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5, but you want to play it, I have an Xbox Series S, but I don't want to play it on that. I want to play it on Stadia. So 4K, 30 frames per second, fine. Love it. I don't have a choice. In the same way as Jamie mentioned, Switch players, love it. Don't have a choice. They love it. Yeah, I think they badly optimized. That's the word. I think they may have they've rushed the optimization of the engine. But hopefully, as we've seen with Valhalla, they can optimize it. I mean, you'd think they'd have a word with the Valhalla team and say, what did you do? But often when a game is first launched, it's a rush to get it done and all that kind of stuff. It's not always fully optimized at launch. And so you make creative decisions. And clearly it's a creative decision that is not pleasing to everybody, that's the thing. But probably pleasing to most. Sweet. Thank you, Jamie. Yeah. I think if you notice, and it spoils your enjoyment of the game, fair enough. But if you don't notice, if nobody told you, most casual gamers, they don't know any better. They just play the game. As long as it feels good, looks good, plays well, fine. I can't wait, Ray. I can't wait. I'm so glad I finished Far Cry 5. I'm just worried now. I've started, am I going to get round to Valhalla at 60 frames per second? I've just started Mafia. I've still got Control to do. I've got so many damn games. It's crazy, man. Crazy game. Oh, that'd be interesting if they are updating Wildlands and Breakpoint. Oh, yeah. Hello, Dan. Yeah, will do. It's confirmed we'll get 1080p. I don't believe it is. What we're talking about here? Are we talking about Valhalla? It is confirmed. That was a patch update. That's Ubisoft saying it, not me. That's actually from Ubisoft. Or are you talking about something else, Monkey Boy? I apologize. They updated the term legacy is an interesting part, though. Okay, with the breakpoint. Okay, I've got to look out for that one. Yeah, it was a great infographic, but it's just a useful reminder, I think, about the adoption of streaming technology. Now, I think it speeds up each time as people got used to the concept. At first, you know, the technology and the concept, I think with music, it took a longer time. TV and film, the slightly shorter time, but it's still 10 years or so. Could be gaming, could be, you know, so you went from 16 years for music, 10 years for film. Maybe you get 5 to 10 years for streaming, but it works, you know, and for some people, streaming on xCloud works really well. Not for everybody, but for some people, it works really well. So we know it works. Stadia works well. We know that works. Even Linus Tech Tips, right? Confirmed. Yeah. Fact. Confirmed it. Yeah. It works. So now it's just about getting it out to the masses, getting it on the devices you already own, i.e. LG TVs, Sony TVs, phones, upcoming Pixel 6, whatever. Just getting it out there. Everybody's browser, letting them know. Bring the games that people want to play. And slowly but surely, just in the same way as, you know, I got into Netflix first time, hated it. Second time I got into it because they had Breaking Bad on it. Something people had been talking about. I wanted to watch. Watched it on Netflix. Subscribed just to watch that. Never went back. And that's probably true of so many people. But there we go. Well, that's what I was saying, Patrick. The window of but each time the concept. At first they say, oh, music, yeah, but you wouldn't be able to stream films and TV. You have to download them, and they take ages to download. Then streaming of TV and film. Ah, yeah, but you'll never be able to do games because it's not the same as TV and film. You see, you know, TV and film, you can buffer in the film for like 10, 20 seconds so you don't get that stuttering. So it's not the same. Gaming. So whilst the adoption period, I think, will be shorter and shorter, it still will be 5 years or something like that. That's my point. Yay, Prote loves Linus Tech Tips. Yeah, I think if you play it, that's what I'm saying. If you play across loads of platforms, you're going to notice, you know, like, don't get me wrong. If you've played at 60 frames per second, once you've had Silk, it is hard to go back. You know, my son plays Fortnite 120 frames per second on his Xbox Series S, and he loves it. And then when he comes here, he'll play it on PC because he can, you know, although ironically, I have a 4K 60 frames per second TV, not 120 frames per second monitor here, but upstairs I've got 120 frames per second monitor for him, 120 hertz. But there we go. Yeah, 5 to 10 years. Coconuts, yeah. Selling coconuts. Hey, you should check out my Plenty Shakes. Coconut flavor, very nice. Anarchy Brawler doesn't see anything doing major anytime soon. No, I think it's a slow, gradual. Don't expect, you know, I think this is Stadia's problem is everybody expected a massive bang, but I think it's always in Google's mindset to be a slow rollout and establish, a footprint in the world of game streaming. And they've certainly done that as it grows, but it's such a tiny market. But they've put their flag down, and that market's just going to grow and grow over time, as we said. Revenge of the Nerds, yeah. They just got to keep doing what they're doing, keep developing the tech, keep bringing the features, keep bringing it to the devices you already own, and bring the games. Like I said about my son playing FIFA, bring the games you already own. I mean, so bring the games. What am I saying? Bring the games people want to play. That's all it is. People won't question what it's on. Just, oh, well, I can play it on my TV. Great. It's a slow crawl. Yeah, and they are super slow, but they're just not a big fanfare type company. The games will be the thing, not the features, ultimately. You know, absolutely, Rev. Absolutely. They never said they were going to do it. It was everybody else. The fault of Stadia or Google at the time was not managing, in my view, was not managing the press and the PR effectively. They let the misconceptions and notions and misstatements get out of hand, really. I think they could, you know, and that's a PR marketing job. And, you know, to do that, to handle it, to get the message out there, to get the right message. And I don't think the right message got out. So it wasn't controlled. You need to control the message. And I don't think they did. So there we go. Yeah, it could be that. Embraced, I would say, Victor. Embraced it and given it more focus. Yeah, I think also it's the Google way. But anyway, I'm going to whiz through some of this. So if I've missed some of your chats, I apologize. You've been absolutely chatting crazy. This is my point. I think we shouted you out, Consignio. If we did, I apologize. Yeah, we have the cans. I've got the cans. We can do it. It's like this old joke in a TV series, a sitcom from years and years ago called Only Fools and Horses. Yeah. And he talks about, there's this sort of slightly dim guy, and he talks about he's a road sweeper and he's got a broom. And he's telling his mates how he's had that broom for 19 years. And he's got a special medal from the council for keeping his broom for 19 years. His name's Trigger. He says, I've had this broom for 19 years. And look at the condition of it. It's amazing. And they're looking at it and it's spotless. It's an amazing broom. And he goes, 19 years I've had this broom. And they're going, it's really good condition. He goes, yeah, I've really looked after it. You know, I've only replaced the handle and the main brush 5 or 10 times. Philosophical, yeah? Is it the same broom? So replacing people, that's what happens. You know, is it the same broom? Is it the same company? If you replace bits and bops of it. Anyway, I could waffle on and talk to you guys all night. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely, it's an embracing of them into their core key strategy, as I said last week. But there we go. Grime update live, says Spartadine. Yeah, I saw that tweeted out earlier, actually. But there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for indulging me and all of that, my rants, my nonsense, and all of that. Absolutely classic Only Fools and Horses. But there we go. Have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, evening, whatever it is. Enjoy your games. Enjoy Far Cry 6, wherever you choose to play it that suits you when it comes out. Enjoy it. Have fun. Enjoy the Valhalla 60 frames per second update as well. And all of that. Victor, I'm sorry I've been mean to you. Always fun to have you in the chat. Thank you for the super chat as well. And all of that. And on that note, let's all come back here, same time, same place next week, and do it all again and talk about all the wonderful things Stadia have done over the next 7 days. All right, people, goodbye.